have fun breaking down the shows everybody's watching. Today, I'm breaking down episode 3 of Kimora, Back in the Fab Lane. Here's how things are going to flow. I'll start with a quick thematic overview before moving into my raw, unfiltered commentary and real-time reactions as I watch the episode. I will wrap things up with a concise breakdown of recurring themes, behavior patterns, and relationship dynamics that really stood out. Think of this as the after show to your favorite show, like talking on the phone with your observant and always honest best friend. Grab a cocktail or a mocktail and let's get into it. Episode 3 of Kimora, Back in the Fab Lane pulls back the curtain on the family dynamics we haven't fully seen yet, highlighting the tension between independence, control, and unspoken expectations. Aoki's return home exposes strained communication, deep sibling bonds, and a complicated sister relationship shaped by comparison, body image, and emotional distance. Beneath the glam and the family business, this episode reveals how love, absence, and power collide inside a very human family. Let's get into it. Okay, so I am going to review and give my commentary on episode 3 of Kimora, Back in the Fab Lane. So let's get into it. I am excited to continue watching and commenting on the next few episodes because it looks like the show is really picking up. It looks like it's going to get really interesting, and it looks like we're going to see a little bit more of the dynamics between the family members that are maybe not so pretty, maybe something that, Kimora might not want people to see. So I'm excited to review it. Let's do it. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so in this first scene, Miss Aoki Lee is in the building, you guys. She is home. She flies in. And she comes in. I just want to take note of her very bubbly personality. She seems like a very sweet, genuine person, just from what I'm getting off in the camera. Her mom makes her iced coffee. It's very sweet. She's interacting with her mom, telling her about her trip and everything like that. So now, this scene is particularly a long one because she's been missing from the show for like the first 2 episodes. So now that she's caught up with her mother, she's kind of had a chat with her mother, she's moving into what appears to be the dining room in the home, in her mom's home. And she's getting ready to greet her siblings. So let's see how that goes. Okay. I'm sorry. I had to take note right here because Kimora is something else. She makes a comment about her children because in this particular scene that we're continuing, Aoki is now having a conversation with Kenzo. And Kenzo, while very happy to see his sister, is not very happy with her and how she handled her traveling situation, how long she was gone, and how little she talked to him and the other family members while she was gone. So that's going on. And in the midst of this, Kimora's confessional comes up. And she says, she compares her children to like the little ducklings following the mama duck. And she says all the other kids are following in line, and Aoki's that one duckling that's just swimming in a circle doing its own thing. And I find it really hilarious, but I want to take a moment here because not only is it hilarious, I think it's accurate for many reasons. Of course, this is how mama feels, so she's allowed to feel how she feels. This is her family, right? That being said, I do think Aoki is the one doing her own thing, but I don't think that it's a bad thing. I don't think she's like, she could. Well, I'll say this. Aoki appears to be the only one with some level of independence. The younger boys, we understand why they're not independent. They are literally teenagers, okay? But compared to her sister, she appears to be, out of the two older girls who are capable of going and doing things and being adults and living life, she's the only one that appears to be independent or have some form of independence. I think that she lives in New York. It was said here that she was talking about her life and how she's been working. She was 16. She went to college. This whole point of her going to Bali and staying for so long was to take like a year for herself, like a gap year. And she says that she moved to New York in order to work, I believe. I'm not sure if it's for to work or to go to school, but either way, she wasn't near her family. New York is a long way from Los Angeles. So I like that Aoki is this duckling in a circle doing her own thing because she's figuring it out for herself. I think it's really great, and I'm excited to see her dynamics with the other siblings moving forward. Let's keep going. Okay, so Kenzo is pissed in this scene. He's getting after his sister for leaving, like I mentioned. He has an attitude. I can't blame him one bit. I want to say this, you guys. There is a certain dynamic between siblings that follow each other. Even when there is a huge age gap. I'll give you an example in my family. We're a little bit closer together, but I feel like it still applies here. So I'm the oldest in my set of family, and then I have a sister that is she's not even 2 years difference from me. She's like maybe, I don't know the numbers, but she's not fully 2 years. She's like a year and some change. And then I have a brother who's 5 years younger than me and 3 years younger than my sister. My sister and my younger brother, who's younger, again, he's younger than even my sister, they have a relationship like you wouldn't believe. I have a relationship with my younger brother, but me being the older one, it's not as close as it is between him and my sister because they're closer in age. I feel like that's what I am seeing with Kenzo and Aoki Lee. You got to understand that while Aoki grew up like a twin with Ming and they're older, Aoki is still the next sibling to Kenzo. So Kenzo would have only known for some time before his brother is born. I think like 4.5 or 5 years later, his little brother is born, or whenever they did. I don't know when they adopted Mr. Gary, but he would have only known the two older girls, and the one he would have been closest to would have been Aoki because she is the sibling that's right next to him. She's the one right above him. She's closer in age to him, even though there's a significant age gap. So I can see that they clearly have a very close relationship. He clearly looks up to Aoki. He clearly loves his sister. He clearly has a very strong relationship with her. And he is really showing, his disappointment. And I felt it in that scene. Okay, so that scene pretty much wraps up with everybody kind of, Kimora is just kind of quiet, kind of letting it play out because I think she's thinking to herself like, let her siblings tell her how everybody feels because I'm always telling you how I feel, but I'm mom. You know what I mean? You need to hear it from your siblings. So she's letting the siblings kind of get it out. I would say Wolf, he's only 10, but he is so much younger. It's not that he doesn't appear to have a relationship, but he's just like, oh, you're here? Okay. It doesn't seem like he sees her a lot. So he wasn't, he didn't really show her much attention when he walked into the room. So I just think it's funny. I think it's really funny how they were interacting in this particular scene. And I think that it shows that despite the gaps in the family, they're all very close. They have some really strong relationships. So that's really a beautiful thing. Let's move on. I want to take note here before we move into the next scene that I was trying to say in the last audio sound bit that you can see that there are some strong connections between the children despite the age difference, the age gaps. And that's clear in Aoki and Kinzo's relationship. That being said, I found it very interesting before we move into the next scene. And the next scene is kind of still a part of the first scene because there's something going on at the house. Kimora's having a baby fat photo shoot. So this is all happening while they're having the conversation in the kitchen. So it's getting all set up, and then Kimora lets Aoki know, hey, I need you to do this today. This is what's happening. And she literally just flew in. So that's the life of a model. But I want to say before we move into that, she's asked in her confessional if Ming missed her. And you can tell it takes everything in her. She really did try to keep it cute, but she was not able to lie, which I feel like that is just like me. I'm not able to lie. I can only tell the truth. If I'm feeling away, I'm feeling away. And I'm going to tell you whether, you agree with it or not. And she says in her confessional, well, I don't think. And then she goes on and on. Then she's like, well, I'm sure Ming missed me. And then, kind of makes a face that's like, yeah, right, right. So that's something to take note of here, that maybe the relationship between her and Ming is a little bit strained. Maybe I'm getting that it may have been strained or something like that even before Bali, because I don't think that she would be saying that if it was just based off one trip for 6 months and she's been gone. I could be wrong, but I just want to make note of that here. Let's keep going. So we're in the next scene, and Kimora, like I said, has this entire photo shoot set up for her daughter, Aoki, and it appears that Ming is going to be in it as well, because I just saw Ming walk in the scene. She looks like she's going to go get ready. And she has this whole thing set up for her daughters to model baby fat swimwear. Aoki is pissed. She is, and I would be, quite frankly, I would be pissed too. It's clear that their mother has a level of control in their lives and what they do for work and how they appear to make money, because there's no way that even at 20 something years old that my mom, my parents are gone, y'all, may they rest in peace, but there's no way that she could tell me what to do with my schedule, because she wouldn't have been running it. That's just how I am, and that's just how I made my life. You know what I mean? When I was young, I made sure to grow up and make it so that I had too much control in my family. And when I grew up, I wanted to be free of that. So I made sure I could be independent. You know what I mean? Now, as independent as Miss Aoki appears to be, there's still some dependence there, clearly, because if your mother can tell you to get to work the minute that you step off of a plane, she's running something in the background that we're not aware of. She's either booking your shows, or she, has, obviously Miss Kimora has influence in the fashion industry, in the modeling industry. She knows this photographer. So that stuff is all very clear, and maybe that is what the influence that she has. But I don't know. I could be wrong. I do realize that people do things as like family, right? So, but if it were me, I would want my mother to ask me, hey, or let me know ahead of time, this is what's happening. So I don't know, maybe it's convenient that she flew in on this day and then they had this plan. So maybe there was a conversation, but she appears to not know that this was happening. So I don't know. I feel like Kimora obviously still runs Aoki's life a little bit somehow, because there's just no way that you get off a plane and you're to work like that. Now, I know that's how models do. It's not uncommon for them to go, get off long, I don't know about vacation, but it's not uncommon for them to go from job to job, no rest, no minute to chill, just get to work, like that. It's a very demanding job. And as you can see in this particular scene, you can see that modeling is a very physical job. You see Aoki up on the car. She's burning. Have you ever touched a hot car with your skin? It's very painful. And she's up there with her back on the car, her stomach on the car, but she looks freaking great. Man, let me tell you, she's working it, honey. She looks great, but it looks very uncomfortable. So, but I just wanted to say that about what I'm noticing here. That just appears to me to be the situation. Kimora has some type of power over this young woman's schedule, over what she does for work. I know that Miss Kimora said that she's, trying to prepare the girls to take over baby fat. That makes total sense. And of course, why wouldn't they want to lend their skills, which appears to be modeling, at least that's what I've seen so far, to their mother's brand? I get all of that. But what I'm confused about is, how does this grown woman get home to her mother's house, comes, says hello, and is coerced, is that the right word, to go and do this photo shoot real quick? So it's interesting, but it is family business, and I get it. Maybe that's just how it goes. Let's keep going. Okay, so if I said Miss Ming was in the building before, I was incorrect, because I've rewinded it a couple times, and I just wanted to correct myself. So now, at this point in the modeling scene, Miss Ming has walked into the building. You guys, she walks in. She has to go past her sister to get into the house. The driveway is where Aoki is modeling. Walks in, sees her sister modeling, says not a word. Now, I don't know how modeling works. I don't know if it's quiet on the set, if it's a big deal. To me, the way that it was set up, it looks like a very fun shoot. So I don't see what would have been wrong with her saying, "Oh, sis, you look good. Hey, baby girl." You know what I mean? Whatever, however they greet each other. Something. Or just be like, hey, just anything. Or just wave, or just let your sister know that you're there. She walks smooth past her sister as she's modeling. And walks past everybody. Everybody on the set, the photographer, everyone goes straight upstairs. I don't like to say that I don't like people, especially people I don't know. Because how do I say that I don't like you and I don't know you, right? But I'm beginning not to enjoy. I'm not enjoying Ming. I'm not enjoying her personality. I'm not enjoying her behavior. She seems very entitled. I didn't like what she did in the last scene with her mom, and the glasses situation. That felt very entitled. You're 25, girl. Why can't you buy your own glasses? And now you're being nasty to your sister for no reason. I don't think that there's any reason why she couldn't stop and say hello to her sister while she was modeling. Now, y'all tell me if I'm wrong. Y'all tell me the tea. Are you a model? Is that something that you don't do? If you see someone modeling, maybe you don't interrupt the process. I could be wrong. I am not in that business. I'm just confused as to why she would just go past her sister like that, straight upstairs. And then she's in her confessional talking about, oh, she was gone and she never this, and that. Okay, girl, it's okay to be upset and annoyed with your sister, but I would never not speak to my sister. That's just me. I don't know about anybody else. I know that sister dynamics can be complicated. I have one. But no matter what's going on with her, if I'm frustrated with her, I'm going to pull her to the side later and tell her I'm upset with her. I'm not going to just not speak to my sister. So I didn't like that, okay? I didn't like it. And let's see what's going to happen now. Okay? Let's keep going. So, I want to say that in the confessional, Ming said it's allowed to be about me sometimes. You know how I feel about that. And you know what? This is, you guys come here to hear me give it to you straight, no chaser. Girl, what are you talking about? That's exactly how I feel right now. Huh? Okay, yes, it's allowed to be about all the kids. All the kids should have a opportunity to be one on one with their mother. It appears that you have that, or you have had that with your mom. You just did a photo shoot with your mom. It was just you and your mom, Ming. So, girl, what are you talking about? It's just allowed to be about you. Did you miss your sister, or did you not want her there and you wanted it to be all about you? Which one is it, boo? Because you're not making any sense, and it's getting on my nerves, to be quite honest. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so in this scene that we're continuing with the modeling, Ming has to go and chase her sister down. Okay, and you know what? I kind of take back what I said a little bit, because maybe why Ming was in a rush to get in the house was she needed to hurry up and get in hair and makeup, and knowing her mother, she was probably late and it was probably supposed to get started a long time ago. So you know what? I'm gonna take it back. And you know, I'm going to leave it in there because I want you guys to see that as we watch film, as we analyze films or all that type of stuff, you can change your opinion. You can feel one thing in one instance and then it change your mind in the next instance based on what's happening and how things are evolving. We're allowed to do that. So as we continue to gain more context, we can typically change our minds. So I am changing my mind. I don't think, maybe that's why she didn't say hello to her sister, even though she wasn't moving very fast to me, like somebody who was in a rush. But that could be an option. So I'm going to say, okay, maybe that's what it was, and I'm going to leave it at that. Maybe you weren't being catty and snooty. Now, now I might change my mind with what I'm about to say, because in this scene, like I said, Aoki walks up to her sister. She has to go chase her sister down. She's in hair and makeup. And she says hi. She's so sweet to her sister. She's like, hi, you look good. Is that your skin? You look so beautiful. It's good to see you. Ming looks, have you guys ever met somebody that's just like, they're so apathetic and they just do not give a damn about anything? You can just see in their eyes, there's just no emotion. That's how she looks to me. She just looks like, she reminds me of a friend of mine who just does not seem to get really very nonchalant. I don't know if nonchalant is the word. To me, it's apathetic because it just seems like you don't care. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, girl, perk up. Like, look like like something matters to you. So anyway, I mean, that's what I was getting in that scene. I was like, oh, girl, like, why is it like that? This is your sister. You haven't seen her in months. And this is the face you have on your face, this dead look in your eyes. It doesn't make any sense to me. So she said, Aoki's showering her sister with this, you look so beautiful. She says hi ho, which I found interesting, but sisters have their ways of greeting each other, so that's neither here nor there. And then Ming says to Aoki, oh, you look good, you look healthy. I thought she truly meant it in the moment, like you look good, like you look like you're glowing. Aoki, you guys took that so negatively. And in this instance, they really kind of have a little back and forth right here. And Aoki kind of walks away. And she ends up saying to one of the I think it's a producer. I don't know if I think so. That her sister's being a little bitch. You know what I mean? And it makes me wonder, well, who I'm looking at in this instance is Miss Kimora. Because Miss Kimora, why did Aoki say healthy means fat in this house? Where did she learn that from? It's your house, Kimora. Miss Kimora, I'm not here to, listen, I'm not here to get all up in y'all's business. I just have questions. That's all, Miss Kimora. But why does your baby girl feel that the word healthy is a negative word in your house. Where did she learn that from? I need to take a note here, you guys, okay? I want to take a note here because it's important. If you go back and look at photos of Ming when she was just a few years back, she was not as slim as she is now. Now, that's not to say that she was ever overweight, okay? That is not to say that. That's not what I'm saying. She just was not as lean as she is now. I've never seen her this lean. This, you know, oh, I don't want, you know what? I want to, because wouldn't want anybody to do it to me. So I'm not going to break down her looks like that. But I will say that she used to be a little bit more fuller bodied. And now she's really, really, really slim. I've never seen her like that. Maybe she's working out a lot. You know, I've heard things about the O being a part of her regimen. I don't know. It's not a gossip channel. I just analyze films. Okay, shows. That being said, what pushed her to get so slim? I also don't remember that Ming was modeling very much growing up, or wasn't. I knew that Aoki was a model once she got older. I did hear about that. I never remember hearing that about Ming. I don't remember really knowing exactly what she was doing. So I just find it very interesting that Ming, who was, for lack of better words, the more fuller bodied sister out of the two, and I don't like comparing people, but everybody has different frames. Actually, just to give you guys an example, my sister and I are a little bit, I do see a lot of my sister and I in them, except for the, you know, dependent, like rich girl stuff. I do see a lot of my sister and I in the Ming and Aoki because of the close in age and how they grew up. And I will tell you that I was the thicker sister. More hips, more voluptuous. My sister was super skinny when we were growing up, okay? Up and down, just like Aoki, just skinny and, you know, small. And I was not, and I can tell you that dynamic can make if you don't have a strong family with like, who's emotionally intelligent and things like that and mature and stuff, they will compare you and they will wear you out with that. And I almost wonder, did they have to go through comparisons like that, and did that weigh on me to the point that she went and did something about it, whatever that is? And now this is why we have this type of dynamic between the sisters. I'm not saying that Kimora said anything. I would like to think that she made both of her girls feel beautiful and loved no matter what size they were. But it's very clear that size is an issue amongst these girls because we're seeing it play on camera. Let's keep going. And to end that scene, they're in the confessional, and, you know, Ming is making all these comments, and Aoki is saying, you know, what she thought Ming meant. And Kimora, you could tell that she's not proud in this moment that her daughters are having this type of argument, and she doesn't want it to continue. So I just took notice in this moment in the confessional how Kimora, you know, she tries to comfort Aoki, kind of make Ming kind of stop talking, you know what I mean? And then she tells the person behind who's asking the questions behind the camera, next question. She does not want anybody to see this side. That's what I'm getting of her family, of her daughters, of their relationship. It appears that she wants you to see how beautiful and wonderful and close-knit her family is, but she does not want you guys to see some of the uglier sides. And this was ugly, whether or not we want to admit it. Okay? That's one of the toughest things that sisters can go through, is to be compared to each other, size-wise, look-wise. I'm sure a lot of young girls who have sisters can relate to what I'm talking about. Being compared to your sister, that one sister's prettier, one's taller, one's more hair is lighter, whatever. You know what I mean? One has higher cheekbones, one's skinnier, one's has better body shape. It's not right. It's not fair, and that's what we were seeing here. And Miss Kimora, she tried to shut it down because she didn't really want, it to be a thing. And I get that. Of course, you want your family to look as good as possible, but it's important that we see the ugly parts as well, because that's how we as a community, especially when we're watching reality TV, how we learn things and we grow, because we all have families, and what's going on in Miss Kimora's family is not uncommon to anyone. Other people have these experiences too. Other people have kids that have huge age gaps too. Other people have daughters that have strained relationships as well for one reason or another. And it's a beautiful thing to look at this and to say, okay, this is pretty much okay. To look at this and to say, okay, I know what that's like. How can I do better? How can me and my family do better? So that's all I'm saying. Let's keep going. Okay, so now in this next scene, she is with her near and dear friend. I believe her name is Wanda. And they are golfing. And they're just having a good time. This particular scene, it appears that she's out because she just wants to get out of the house and kind of relax. And her friend is taking her out to kind of get her, her mind off of everything that's going on at home now that Aoki is back. So this particular scene isn't really all that interesting. I really don't have much to say about it. Let's keep going. Okay, so in this next scene, Aoki is meeting with an aunt-like figure named Lala. Lala appears to be, or according to Kimora, Lala is a very good friend that has been there for years and years and years. If you watched the episode, you see they show an old photo of Kimora and Lala. So she's been around. She's like an aunt to Kimora's children. And I like the way that Aunt Lala breaks it down to Aoki. She lets her know that she understands why she did what she did, why she left, why she felt like she needed that break, but that she could have communicated better. She should have communicated better in the way that she did things, and she was not communicating very well, and that left the family feeling very sad and alone, and not alone, but just missing her. And of course, probably made them feel a little bit like pushed to the side and unimportant, because when you don't communicate things or communicate well, people can misinterpret what what your actions mean, and also it can lead to them making assumptions, and you don't ever want to leave open space for that. You always want things to be clear. So I totally understand what Miss Lala is saying, and it appears that Aoki in this scene really receives it well from Miss Lala. So let's keep going. Okay, so in this last scene, it's family dinner at Kimora's house. All the kids are there, including Kimora, and it looks like, I don't know who gave themselves a seat placement, like on a, what do you call those things? A sticky note thing. Somebody gave themselves a seat plate. Okay. The seat is like a booth at a restaurant, a U-shaped booth. So to even put seat placements is hilarious in a U-shaped booth. But somebody marked part of the table as their table, and then everybody wanted one. All the kids wanted one, and Aoki is telling Wolf, the youngest, to make her a seat placement. And Wolf is getting ready to write her name, and he's asking her, how do you spell it? And she's in shock that her little brother doesn't know how to spell her name. Then she says to him, do you remember me otherwise? That to me says that Aoki isn't around a lot. or it's just interesting because it's hard to say because she is how many years? She's 20, I think 22, and he is 10. These goddamn dogs. Close the door. I want to say, so they're like, listen, you guys, they're at least 10, if not 11 or 12 years apart. I can't do all the math right now, but I think she's 22, I believe. And I know that he just had a 10th birthday. So they are 11 years, probably, if not 12 years difference in age. This is part of the thing I was saying, what happens when there's huge gaps in families. It's just, there can be a disconnect sometimes. And it's very clear in this scene. Now, remember I said that I noticed that same thing with Wolf and Ming in the very first episode. And now we're seeing it here as well. It just appears that maybe Wolf doesn't have a really strong relationship with the older sisters because they're busy, they're grown, they're, doing adult-like things, and he's still a kid. So we're seeing that in here, but you can tell that it kind of made Aoki sad that he doesn't really know how to spell her name and he doesn't see her all the time. And she even had to ask him, like I said, like, do you remember me otherwise? That shows that there is a disconnect. So now she's seeing for herself how not taking the time to spend with her siblings has affected their relationships. All right, so let's keep going. Okay, so I officially love Aoki even more now that she has decided to take upon the role of the messy sibling and show a picture of her mama's mugshot at dinner. That was so funny. And Kimora gives this convoluted story, about how it was it was evading, and there's no way she could have evaded at 5 miles per hour. But we gonna believe you, Kimora. We gonna take your word for it, girl. And she's absolutely right. She is one of the first people to actually make a mugshot look good. I remember that mugshot. It was a long time ago, but I do remember. And honey, you are a trendsetter, and that's why we love you. And so I just want to sum this episode up really quickly. What I did notice most in this episode is the very complicated relationship between Ming and Aoki. When you're that close together as siblings, there's good and there's bad. So here we saw, a complicated interaction between the sisters, and I'm sure we'll get to see a better side as we go on. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I noticed in the episode. I would say the other thing that I noticed in the episode is, like I said, it's a small part of it, but the control that Kimora appears to have over her daughters, I didn't think that she had the same level with Aoki as she did with Ming, because Ming is so dependent. But it does appear that Miss Aoki is, her mom seems to be running some of her what she does, because of the whole thing with her flying in that very day and then making her get to work just flew in and put her butt to work. So I don't know. I'm gonna try to pay like closer attention to this, because what I really want to know is how involved is she in their business and how they move as young adults. Because I do realize she is, this whole thing she's doing is a family business. That's totally understandable. But at some point, the girls have to do things on their own. And if everything is done by mom, including, okay, mom's set up the businesses for us, and she makes our schedules, and she does all this and that and this, when do the girls get a chance to be independent as women who run their mother's, or help run their mother's business? So I don't know. I'm just curious to see. But that pretty much wraps up episode 3 of Kimora Back in the Fab Lane. The overall theme in episode 3 is family closeness coexisting with control, comparison, and unspoken tension. Episode 3 centers on how love, loyalty, and family business intersect with independence, communication breakdowns, and unresolved sibling dynamics, especially between sisters raised under intense visibility and expectation. This episode shows that love doesn't erase harm and closeness doesn't prevent fracture, especially in families shaped by fame, business, and comparison. What makes it compelling is that none of these dynamics are extreme or rare. They're deeply familiar, especially for families with siblings, age gaps, and high expectations. And that's pretty much all I have for episode 3 of Kimora, Back in the Fab Lane. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Until next time, enjoy the outro music, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!